the absolute crazy last 3-4 days in the crypto market. As you could see over the weekend, we started stabilizing. We had a great stable Bitcoin, and all of a sudden we started off the collapse and obviously the deep peg of the USDC, creating a lot of panic within the market. And then all of a sudden, within a few hours or a day or two, we all of a sudden started this massive push to the upside. Now, the big question is, we can clearly see it's a short squeeze, right? We had every single person shorting and thinking that this is about to get really bad. Now, ultimately, what we have is possibilities of the printers coming back on. Now, this is there to save the banks. We could see that even just a little bit of time of tightening and all of that is starting to show all the cracks. It's starting to show the truth of how screwed the financial system is right now. And now they might have to bail them out. So in the next few hours, we might have a possibility of a short-term printing machine coming on, and we could see how quickly that started to push the Bitcoin price, right? Now, there's two whammies with Bitcoin. Not only is there a possibility of a nice little small short-term recovery within the stock market, we also have the stable coins showing issues. And now what it's starting to create is people understand now that stable coins is also something that's extremely risky. And now they're thinking Bitcoin safe haven. And that's why not only do we have the printing that's starting to create a little bit of hype within the markets and all the shorts getting absolutely squeezed, we also have, it's now time to start understanding that Bitcoin is the true king. So in this show, I'm going to be speaking about the different scenarios. I'm going to give you the different scenarios where we are at resistance right now. This is a great bounce. And can this change everything? Because what Run spoke about this morning, he's saying this could be something big. This could really end up in becoming a really big move. If we have a big stock market move today and we have things go our way, and just looking at the next squeeze levels, this could become a lot bigger than what we think. Or this could be the biggest offload position for possible lower entries. So I'm going to be speaking about Bitcoin, speaking about all the different possibilities. The altcoins have not moved yet. This is a Bitcoin and ETH pump. Is it time to get into the altcoins? No more wasting time. Big show. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and let's get into the show. Let's hit it.
Click, have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, when the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, 𝗕𝗆𝗄𝗏 Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, 𝗕𝗆𝗄𝗏 Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what do you think? I decided I might be going to banking. I decided to dress up. I kind of feel maybe we get a little bit of a bull market again, and I thought I'll dress quite fancy for Bitcoin and hopefully give it that support that it needs to break this next resistance. By the way, break that like button and break the subscribe button. How are we feeling, guys? How's the weekend? Did you get the dip? It's quite crazy. Let's be honest. We chart the markets and we look at what's happening every day, but I don't think you could script what happened this weekend. There's no way you could script it. Like how it just all went absolutely insane. One thing I can show though is Bitcoin is getting stronger every day. Every day that more shit comes out and the more truth that comes out with the financial system, we're just getting a stronger and stronger Bitcoin. It's absolutely insane. And we got to remember again why you're in this space. You're in this space because we're trying to change something. We're trying to bring something new because we're tired of the old ways. We're tired of the lies. And it's really nice to see how strong Bitcoin gets when we go through these times. So this is a really good bounce. Now, guys, first thing, just before I jump in, remember Sniper School. I'm doing another live session today. The cohort 3 is now closed. We have cohort 4 starting in the next 10 days. What you have to do is you open an exchange link below using one of the Sniper School exchange links. If you have a Bybit, open an OKX, open a BitGet, anyone different, but use a Sniper School link, deposit $100 and register for Sniper School. They're going to ask for your user ID. You put that in, and then you get immediate access to the course. I spoke about it again. This is the best time to be learning, because are you ready? I want to ask the question, and you just put it in the comments over here quickly. Are you ready if the bull market starts today? Are you ready? Like, all the hard work, that whole bear market you went through, like, have you studied enough? Have you gone through enough? Like, are you ready if the market decides to do something absolutely crazy? Ask yourself that question, because it comes once every few years. And when it comes for a few months, and then it's gone. And if you don't capitalize and you're not ready when it happens, you know, that's where you end up having to repeat a few bull cycles. And how many times do you want to bump our heads? You know, it's a big, big, big question. So let's jump in and let's start having a look. The first thing I want to have a look at is, let's quickly speak. Bitcoin 22,000. Can't believe it. You know, going all the way down to 19.5, bouncing on the 200-day moving average. Actually perfect. Look at that. So where Bitcoin bounced makes sense on where it did bounce. And that's just because of the major supports. If you look at it, you have the 200-day moving average, which it hit perfectly. It wicked there a few times, and a really good candle, you know, that formed afterwards. Then what happened next is we actually had Bitcoin come and test the 618. So end of the day, we had, sorry, I do like the new look, but it is incredibly hot in here. I don't know how people wear suits and stuff every day. I'm trying it. Not bad. And then what we have is the 618, basically just giving us an indication that we did have a clear move from the bulls over the last few weeks. And now we started quite a heavy retracement, right? But we want to still just know the bigger picture. That is this still a bullish move? You know, is this a dip to be buying? All these sort of things. And in order to stay bullish and things like that, we just needed to hold certain levels. And 618 sort of gives us that indication of strength. You know, the bulls still holding a critical area, even though you are getting a pullback from 25,000 all the way down to 19,000. You know, are the bulls still stronger than the bears of the area? And where we bounced is really good. Now, I'll go through Bitcoin shortly. I think the first thing let's go through is, let's just speak about what's happening at the moment. We do have the futures and the stock market and all of that coming down pretty hard. Now we're having bank collapses, we're having all these sort of things, creating tons of fear within the market. And now starting to get to a point where they have to make a decision. Do they keep allowing this all to happen, or do they temporarily save the day? Now, I don't think it's a save the day and we just go straight into this crazy market for the next 12 months, but I do think it can happen for the next 2 months. I do think temporary, they can put a plaster on this, not fix the wound, but put a plaster on it, save the day right now, because everyone was expecting a 50 basis point tomorrow, right? That's what the
next week.
Yeah, inflation numbers. So they're expecting, is that the week after?
Yeah, next week.
Amazing, amazing. But they're basically expecting higher, right? And now we're looking at the votes being all the way down to 25. So you can see how all of a sudden they're going to have to temporarily save the day here. Now, what that gives for us is, I think it gives us a temporary another month to two continuation. And I'm actually going to speak about another chart with Bitcoin to show why a secondary high after the last bull market high is necessary before we do go into another possible end. Now, I'm still another depression sort of phase, because I still think the end of the year, I still think second half of the year, I still think we're going to have a little bit more max pain. I really do for now. But I explained to you why I still think that there is a possibility of a strong, you know, high to be set in before we actually do so. Now, if you look over here, we do have the futures making its way down. It lost the 200-day moving average. Now, charts are charts, and it's giving us an indication of where it still remains strong and things like that. But we can't control the fundamentals. And when abnormal things happen within the charts is when something crazy happens, right? Because all that I know is, if they do temporarily save the day today, I do expect a strong bounce. I expect a strong bounce within the stock market. Where that bounce goes, I don't think it goes too high. I literally think it goes back up to these higher levels of possibly the $33,000, $34,000 sort of mark. But I think crypto does double the performance, and I'll speak about that in a sec. So as you can see right now, it's the same thing. The same thing that I'm looking at with Bitcoin is the same thing I'm looking at the stock market to see, do we hold 618? And as you can see right now, any bounce that we can get is still really strong in these current areas right now. And we could expect a nice little bounce. Will we make higher highs? We shall see. Ultimately, I just want to know, we have strong momentum within crypto now. Can we get a bounce in this area to over here? Because then we know crypto market ready to explode. Now, the next thing, which is sort of on our side, is 𝗓𝗍. 𝗓𝗍 coming back into trend. Starting to lose a bit of momentum, back at 104. This is good. This is really good. And we would like to see continuation of this. We would like it to break back below the 100. That would be ideal, and make a lower low. That'll be really good. But so far, so good. Shorter time frames, we're breaking trend. We are showing momentum to the downside. Then we have the next big one, 10-year yield. This is big. Big reversal. Really big reversal. Remember, we want the dollar going down, a 10-year bonds going down too, because that's it's always been bullishness for us. And ultimately, where we are now, 200-day moving average. And we were here previously the last few weeks back, and we held it, and then it continued having a strong bounce. But ultimately, if things go good today and we lose this level, we finally have it below the 200-day moving average, which is something we haven't been since December 2021, which is crazy. So this could be something really big. So looking at those now starts to give us a little bit of a picture. Now, these little ones I just want to go through here. Total market cap, the whole total market cap, we lost, definitely, started rejection, bounced on 200-day moving average, and now coming up to test. Now, what I like about it is we did go in it. We didn't go and stop over here. We actually went back into that trend, which is quite good, right? So that looks good, and I'll speak about the levels we want to hold there in a second. Total 2, excluding Bitcoin. Look at that. Ethereum. I'm sure a lot of people saw Ethereum wake up and explode just as much as Bitcoin. And now we're sitting back in that level there too, back above 200-day moving average and actually back into the trend. Now, guys, this very clearly manipulation. Just if I look at charts, even though a bank collapses and I look at all of the FUD and things like that, it's like pure manipulation. Like this is to go down, hunt everyone. It did bounce in a good area, but now completely back within. And it's showing that maybe this weakness over here, was something that was being hidden or something like that, because look how quickly we break straight back into this level again. So that's obviously showing really strong things for ETH. And then we have the total 3. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, and you got that stick that you're poking, and we were poking Bitcoin last week. Bitcoin move, Bitcoin move. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking that with altcoins right now, right? Altcoins move, like Bitcoin's pumping, like altcoins come on. Because if you look at where the altcoins have bounced compared to Bitcoin, you can see very much at the moment, total 3 is lagging behind. But what we got to remember is the market has reset again. It's always going to go back into Bitcoin, ETH, and then into the altcoins. So as long as Bitcoin can break these next major levels, which I'll go through now shortly, we will have a catch up from altcoins. But they basically sitting in the sideline now, in the stands, and they're waiting. They're sitting, they're waiting, they're waiting for Big Daddy to see, are we going high or not? And then they're making the next move. So this is obviously something we want to see break into this soon. But I'm pretty sure if Bitcoin breaks the levels, we'll start to get the altcoins to catch up. So be patient within altcoins. The big question is now, are we going up from here? If so, be grateful, because the altcoins are still very far behind and there's still maybe really good entries to get from the altcoins. Now, guys, I'm going through a lot of these because I don't plan on going through them in the week. Just the higher time frame views of what we focused on. The USDT dominance, last one before I jump into the altcoins and Bitcoin, is if we look at this over here, we did have a previous breaker trend. This created a nice little bullish, strong momentum for us. We had a very fun January. Then we started the choppiness, quite a tough February. And then we had the explosion with the dump off, right? And look where it rejected. It rejected on the top of this trend over here. And now we're making our way down. And if we can have a good stock market bounce, and we can have a Bitcoin break through the very important resistance we're at right now, extremely important resistance, we could actually have dominance lose this trend. And this is the one we want to lose. We lose this trend, indication of a really strong leg to the downside within dominance, and that USDT dominance, which means people getting out of USDT. Now, that makes sense. Were you guys not panicked on the weekend about stablecoins? I had USDC. I had it, and I was like panicking. I'm like, whoa, like I always heard about, USDT and all of these sort of things. And I decided to put a lot of my capital in USDC. And then that all of a sudden I lost. It's the FUD. It was crazy. But good thing is it is back. It is back to those levels. And it is back at who panicked, guys? I'm sure we all panicked, because that was like, whoa, you can't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. We don't need another Luna situation. And it survived. It did survive. Now, let's jump back in. I want to quickly speak about something before I jump into short time frames and what we're doing. I want to speak about the where we are right now. Okay, so 2017 we had a high, right? And what it ended up doing was going through 80% drop to the downside, created this bear market. We trended for a while, and then what we did is we made a temporary secondary high. Okay, and they basically say that this is like a bear run. What do they call it? It's a relief rally. It's basically a relief rally, okay? And it's another offload section. And then what happens is you go through the big bear, you create the secondary high, we then go through slight depression, and then you break that all major trend, right? Something that we even did the time of, jump in here, that we even did the time of the 2014, 13, 14 run, where we created the secondary high, we broke that trend, and from the break of that trend, it then started the new cycle. Okay. And if we have a look at where we're at right now, 2017 showed us that perfect scenario of the market cycle and the way it plays out. But if we look at this and we compare it to where we are right now, we don't have a secondary high. So what we have is we basically just came out of the strong acceleration down phase and we started in these areas. And who knows, people are saying we're either in this phase or we're in this phase over here. But what we don't have is we don't have a secondary high. We don't have another high where we can form that long 3-year, 4-year trend, because this was the signal. This is what gave us the signal to the last bull market, was when we finally broke out of this long trend over here. When we broke that day from $10,000, we then started on this rampage where Bitcoin literally 650% within a few weeks, you know, at that time. What we don't have right now is we don't have that secondary high. So I'm going to paint the picture of what this short term, because as you could see, in that time, it was 560 days getting those two highs in. And if we look at the time frame of where we're at right now, 560 days basically indicates May. Now, we spoke about this. Since when? 1940. Since 1945, the markets have always dumped in May. Every single year. Sally May, go away. Why? Because it's holiday time. It's all these sort of things. But every time, and isn't that's when the Bitcoin conference is? It's usually at that time, and we all celebrate. We're like, woo, Bitcoin conference, amazing. And Bitcoin always dumps. It always dumps hard when it gets to that point. And it's quite crazy that the 560-day mark also moves to May. So what it's basically showing is we don't have a secondary high over here. We don't have something that's giving us that long trend. Very something similar to something that we've seen in the last two runs. And for me, it's like it makes sense that we could make some sort of secondary high. And this would be an offload. It would be an area of where the big guys would probably offload for depression after that. But it is indicating the areas of the 30K, you know, the $35,000 region, which we scratched off a few days back. And now all of a sudden with this big bump, we got to just say, like, if they patch things up right now, we could see how stable coins and all these things are making people run into Bitcoin right now. This could create a big hype. It could create a big hype, and it could give us a pump that we're not ready for. That just comes out of nowhere. And if that did have to happen, I'd probably look at the areas of around 30, 35K. So be aware of it, guys, because if it does come out of nowhere, I don't want to sit and say, oh, we weren't aware. Like, there is still that possibility. Now let's zoom in and let's start looking at what we're doing right now. Stock market's still down. I think the stock market's going to still come down a little bit more today, another percent or two. Meetings at 5:30 our time. So what's that, 5 hours? 5 hours from now. If that comes out good, we should, come on, hold 618 and give us a solid bounce. You give us a solid bounce, we know what happens to crypto. So let's speak about crypto and let's speak about why we do have to break this level right now. Yes, I like the bounce. It looks good. It bounced on the 200-day moving average. It bounced on the 618. That's amazing. But what it has done is we had this previous trend. And you know, as soon as we lost that trend, we accelerated down. Now we're at that trend now. And as you can see, we have two temporary highs over here. We have the RSI slightly at the top on the 4 hours, which does indicate a short-term pullback right now. And stock market's pulling back at the moment too. Now, all that we want to see here is we want to just see a higher low. Like, that's the main thing. We get a higher low and we break this trend. It's now indicating that, because we can see the bulls are strong. They're ready right now to go, but we are at a big resistance. Now, a lot of people want to short and they're bearish. If you are bearish, this is probably your perfect area to take some shorts if you are bearish. I'm just saying, I look good in the jacket. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe should I keep the look? Should I keep the look? Was Sniper going to a suit and tie every day? I see everyone is shocked. Everyone is shocked. Come on, guys. I can also dress smart sometimes. But ultimately, what we want to see here is a higher low. And we want to see a break of this trend. Where we are right now is a big rejection spot. And it can determine that we can make our way back down to the lower ranges. Very important. So what I want you to do is to keep this trend in play over here. We have this trend over here, which we've retested. And if I show you a lot of them right now, you'll probably see a lot of the charts are pointing to the same thing. If we go to ETH, for example, too, look at this. We have ETH that did bounce in a really good spot. The 1,300 is good. But what we have is that original trend. And we have the top trend over here. And ETH right now hit it to the T and it's been rejected. So it's very important before we just celebrate and say this is going to the moon just yet. This is the phase. Now, I want to speak about something, though, too. Previously with Bitcoin, we actually came to this 25K and we actually did it for a few days, right? We sat and we're like, come on, break it, break it, break it. And we hit it. Now, I want to explain the good thing about this if we decide to break this trend again. Is the fact that we did go there previously does mean that we did eat from that wall a little bit. And I think the struggle that we had at 25K then will be different if we approach it again this time. If we approach it again, I kind of look at this way. We went up, we eat the wall a little bit, eat it, make the wall weaker, because the more times you hit a wall, is the more that wall starts to get weaker. And if we had to get through here to there, I think we're going to surpass it a lot easier than where we got this time. That does mean 28K. It does mean higher sort of levels. But where this hard work over here, where that rejection was coming, where it's sitting now is here. There's more resistance over here than there right now. And this is the area that we need to get through. We get through this and expect a little bit of fight, and we can see that right now. No more fiat pumps, please. We get through here. I think we're going to get through that pretty easily. So we could see very clearly right now that it does come down to Bitcoin. And we can see that dominance spiked up very well. I do like that dominance is sort of in this flag at the moment, which means that right now it is love for Bitcoin. And maybe if Bitcoin breaks the wall, it does go up higher. But we do know altcoins do come next. So what we're looking for, guys, let's paint this into a little bit of a picture for today, because I think today is a big thing. I think if we do break these levels and you're not ready for it, I think you are going to fall extremely far behind and it's going to suck. It's really going to suck. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take the fib and I just want to see the level. Bitcoin must hold the 20,500, which is still big. It's still another 6% from where we are right now. We hold that and we hold a higher low. RSIs are coming down. They come down. And then what basically happens is we come down here, money printers come on, we start to get bullish and we break this. I think we well on. Now, I think if you don't catch the original break of this trend on Bitcoin and it gets surpassed that and it goes to level, you've missed your Bitcoin entries, in my opinion. You got to then move to the altcoins, which I'll speak about secondly. Okay, so the level for us to hold is these areas over here. And that will indicate the higher low. And from that, we should explode. And like I said, if we get past 25K, 27, 28, these sort of higher scenarios, that comes back on the plate for now, guys. For now. Doesn't mean I'm rushing into these buys. We are waiting for the crazy volatility happening today and tomorrow. I'm sure the markets are going to go wild in the next 5 hours. Like, absolutely. It's emergency meeting, right? Yeah. Emergency meeting, it's going to go absolutely crazy. Okay. But still, again, whenever you're in doubt within the market, go to Bitcoin, go to ETH, right? Don't get out of the market. Because you get out of the market, I'm sure if you got out of the market, you'll be kicking yourself right now. Get into Bitcoin, get into ETH every time you're afraid. Like that just, it's a thing that works very well. Same with ETH. ETH needs to get back above 1650. We close outside this trend. Look how close it is. It's not far away from these highs over here. And I'm still expecting 2K and then 2, these sort of things flow. Now, where it bounced is really good. It bounced on a really good area and it bounced on 618. So that is really good. And what we're looking at now is the same thing. Take from bottom to top of where we are now. ETH still holds now 1,500 becomes support for ETH. And that may even be a buy area. It might even be a great buy area with stops below that low. And like I said, once we're above that, we start to fly. Now, let's speak about the actual altcoins. I gave you guys this and I'm like, guys, this trend on Cardano. I spoke about it so many times. I'm like, when you find a trend like this, it's gold because your opportunity, like you'll win this trade if you hit it. And you could see over here, once this hit and it broke the trend, boom, absolutely exploded. Okay. There was a CME gap. I don't know if there's a new one now, but there was one that we did fill, the CME gap that we haven't filled for a while. So I'm glad we did. New one formed last night at 20K. Exactly. So 20K, 20K4, as long as we hold that level, we're still good. Higher low. That's what we want. That's definitely what we want. I hit the ADA break. Fantastic. Well done, well done, well done. Now, guys, if you're bullish on this move, which I slightly am, I just want better risk to reward. If they pull back, altcoins pull back to these areas, I'm going short-term long. I'm going on the move of what just happened right now, and I'm going to protect myself, yes, with the lows over here and stops, so that's fine. But ultimately, I'm going long on these areas. We've broken trend now. We're coming down. I'm hoping we come down a little bit more, another 3% or 2% within ADA, and I'm going long. I'm going long on ADA. It's broken the trend. And for me, Bitcoin's up here, right? You know, these previous trends over here, they're all up here. Bitcoin ETH is up here. Altcoins are still here. So for me, I'm taking advantage of what I thought was expensive a few weeks ago to what is cheap now. Let's not deny the altcoins are a lot cheaper than what they were. And for me, I'm still seeing a good risk to reward when it comes to altcoins. So Cardano is the first one. I love this trend break here. Whoever caught it, well done. Short stop loss. Yeah, short stop over here. But let's go through the rest of them here too. AVAX, break a trend, retest now. I'm buying. I'm buying in this box over here. My stops are here in case there's a melt up. But for me, risk to reward's amazing. Fantom in there now. Boom. Everything's breaking. Everything's retesting. We look at Theta. Theta, not there just yet. Take its time. Solana. Solana's another big one. Look at that. I'm doing it, bro. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Think about it. Like it was annoying that we never had the secondary altcoin push a few weeks back. But ultimately, those altcoins now 40% lower. And if I bought then in these areas over here, expecting a big push to the upside, yes, it was amazing. But ultimately, from here now, if I look at the gains, just back to where I was buying back then, it's 25%. So you got an option. If you got some altcoins that are sitting in the rear, if you buy at these areas and the market does make its way back up there, by the time you get to break even with your other entries, you're in profit with these. Like you have to be smart within the game. Now we are taking this step for step. By tomorrow, we'll have more candle prints. By tomorrow's news, we'll have more candle prints and we'll take it day by day. But I do think that we've been blessed with this pump. And I think the altcoins haven't pumped just yet. And I think I was screaming buy for me at $24 for Solana. Now it's at $19 and it's broken trend. And now I'm like, okay, come on. If I was gonna buy it at 26 and now we're at these levels, I'm in. And you just got to go through a lot of the list. If you are on this current pump, slightly overweight in some alts, I would not get out of the market, if I must be honest. I would shift to Bitcoin or ETH. Bitcoin right now is tremendous strength. You could see it right now. I just don't think getting out of the market. Like look at ETH dominance, ripping right now. We've got the news coming out, and we've got a big month for ETH, and ETH looking incredibly strong at the moment. So I won't be getting out. I think that as much as we want this depression, or not even want it, but expecting it, I do think the market's going to absolutely slap everyone that's shorting at some point. I really do. And I think that let's speak about the shorts actually for a second. So what happened yesterday, guys, is when all this news came out and Bitcoin started to lose the major areas, right? You would have had a certain amount of areas of where people wanted to short the market. The first one was here because, let me make this a white box. The first area was here because why? We lost it. And what people expect is we come up, we test it, and then we go down again, right? So people would have wanted to short this area over here. And then what ended up happening was getting squeezed. Then what happened is it got squeezed to this area over here, where people were also trying to short again, because they're like, okay, this is the area of where we're going to reject, and we squeezed. And now it's come to this area. Okay, and now it's the same thing. This for me is the big one, the really big one. Because now everyone over here is shorting, and it's the same thing. It smacks through this level over here. It's going to hit all those stop losses, and we go to the next. And look at all of these basic areas over here, areas of where people want to short. And these are the gaps. These are the acceleration. I got brutalized by market manipulation. Yep. We got to be a big boy to play this game, man. Yeah. That's how it basically works. But remember, you survive the bear, you fly in the bull. That's how it works. It's how it works. But you just don't want to be late. I was way too late on the last bull market. But basically what we have here is this big gap over here. And then we have another gap. So just understand that these are levels that people are shorting. And because they're shorting at this area, they put a stop loss just above it. So that means basically, remember, what is a stop loss? It's buying back in. It's to be like, I think the market's going down, but if it goes here, take my stop, buy me back in. Because now it's getting to these territories where we're no longer bearish, right? And that's where it started this huge squeeze here and why it just doesn't stop. Now, I won't be surprised to see that if things go good today, that this current wave here just keeps going. It does. No, it does. It definitely does. And I won't be surprised that if things go out great today, we hit this, everyone's stop losses are here right now. And that's where you would put your stop if you're short. It hits this and it just swallows it. And over here, it just swallows it. And all of a sudden, we have Bitcoin back to 25K. Like, it's crazy, guys. Now, we do have Run's show that's coming up in 2-3 hours. Go watch it so you can speak about all the fundamentals of what's happening. I just sat on these spaces the weekend and I'm trying to figure it all out. And I'm like, imagine a normal person sitting here and just hearing all of this stuff. Like, just give me a simple bet. Do I buy or do I sell? TA is just good because it's like, I'm hearing about all these things and like all of this and the debt here and this bank and this bank and this bank. And I'm like, okay, whoa, like, so what does that mean? Do I buy the dip? Do I sell? What do I do? Ultimately, it's crazy out there, guys. But just be aware that right now we are pushing and there is this short squeeze can continue. And because this is where all the resistance is sitting here, if we break through this, I expect not much resistance here anymore. I really don't. I actually think they're going to open up these walls, and I think they're going to have them at 30. I do. I think they're going to start slowing down here because there was big walls here previously. And I think if we shoot, they're going to open up those gates and we just rampage through there. And then I think the walls are sitting at a higher point. Do I still think that there is depression coming? Yes. I think the next month or two, if things go good now, I think the next month is bullish, but I do think we go into depression. May, I think from there, I think we do, and we will see where we go. But for now, we can see that this can turn into something big. And if we go back to this chart over here, it will be crazy. 30K, 35K Bitcoin. It would be absolutely crazy. And we still got to remember, this thing's never lied, right? This thing's never lied. The stochastic RSI has taken off. And it is now at this area over here. It's never lied before. It's showing that this should turn green. So it's absolutely crazy. So guys, day by day right now, I'm taking some longs on the altcoins if they're in the green box. That's amazing. Ultimately, we need Bitcoin to get above this level. We need it to get back above, get it to the 23,000s. I think we then rampage through. We need a strong bounce within stock market. 𝗕𝗘𝗧 looks like it wants to reverse. The 10-year yield looks like it wants to reverse. I do want to have a big shout out to Primex BT, guys. Big one for me if you want to trade, because I saw there was gold. I saw there was a gold breakout, and let's actually get in here. If you want to trade gold, I was seeing gold and stuff was actually moving. So what we do have over here, guys, if you look below, Primex is a new sponsor of the show. And if you want to trade gold and silver through these times, because I am seeing them starting to wake up. I think silver actually had a good break. Let's actually speak about silver for a second, if you enjoy this sort of trading. But what it's showing here with silver on the 8 hour is, look at this. It's at resistance now. If this breaks out today, I think we're going to have a huge silver push. And we could have this rampage high up here. So, guys, exchange links are below if you want to open a Primex account. You can trade crypto. You can trade all of them on there. Go give love. Great volume. Like, I really enjoy them. But mainly for me, I'm trading silver and gold because I look at gold as well. Look at that. Rampaging through if you want to. Guys, have an absolute fantastic day. Let's take it day by day. Take advantage of these altcoin buys. Put a stop loss in. Worst scenario, we get stopped. Best scenario, you make a shit ton of money. Like, you have to keep moving with the market. Things have slightly changed from last week. And you can either moan about it or you can be a part of it and you can run with it. So far, so good. Let's see where this gets to. Join Sniper School. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love, Fantom.